The Imam, after Surah Fatiha, he may recite Surah Al-Isra, chapter 17, verse number 23-24, which says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained for you that you worship none but Him, and that you be kind to your parents. And if any one of them, or both of them, reach old age, do not say a word of contempt. Don't even say off to them. But address them with humility, and lower your wing of kindness to them, and pray to the Lord that have mercy on them as they cherished me in childhood. We are being programmed that we have to be good to your parents. And if any one of them or both of them reach old age, yet you should not even say off to them. We are being programmed in our Salaah. The computer normally requires programming only once. But since the human mind has a free will of its own, which the computer doesn't have, the human beings have to be programmed regularly. Because the amount of wrong things we see around us in the society, like eavesdropping, bribing, cheating, robbing, alcoholism, drug addiction, molestation, there are high chances that our mind can get deprogrammed. Therefore, we have to be kept on being regularly programmed to keep us on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, on the straight path. Some people may ask that, why don't you offer Salah only once? Why offer 5 times a day? For a healthy body, a human being requires minimum 3 meals a day. If he has 1 meal a day, he will not have a very healthy body. Similarly, for a spiritual soul, a human being requires minimum 5 times of programming, 5 times of Salah. 1 is not sufficient. That's the reason we Muslims, we offer Salah 5 times a day. The Jews, they offer prayers 3 times a day, which is also mentioned in the Old Testament, in the book of Daniel, chapter number 6, verse number 10. We Muslims, we offer minimum 5 times Salah every day. And it's a commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which has been given to all the Muslims. And it's mentioned in the Holy Qur'an in Surah Hud, chapter number 11, verse number 114. In Surah Isra, chapter 17, verse number 78. In Surah Taha, chapter number 20, verse number 130. And Surah Rum, chapter number 30, verse number 17 and 18. These few verses of the Holy Quran, they instruct the Muslims to offer Salah 5 times a day. The 5 daily Salahs which we Muslims should offer are the Fajr Salah, which begins from any time between the break of dawn till just before sunrise. The second is the Zuhr Salah, after the sun reaches its highest point, from the decline of the sun till the midpoint between noon and sunset. Third is the Asr Salah, after the Zuhr Salah ends until just before sunset. The fourth is the Maghrib Salah, immediately after sunsets till the end of twilight. And the Isha Salah, immediately after twilight, it can be offered till the beginning of dawn. But it is preferable to be offered before 12 in the midnight. A Muslim should offer Salah minimum 5 times a day. And when we offer Salah, and before we enter the mosque, we Muslims, we remove our footwear. And this was the same commandment which was given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Musa alayhi salam, Moses peace be upon him, which is mentioned in the Holy Quran in Surah Taha, chapter number 20, verse number 11 and 12. When he approached the fire, he heard a voice, "O Moses, verily I am thy Lord. Put off thy shoes, for thou art in the sacred valley of Tuwa. This was a commandment given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Musa alayhi salam. A similar message is mentioned in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in the book of Exodus, chapter number 3, verse number 5. It says, He, Lord Almighty, says to Moses, draw not nigh hither, take off thy shoes from thy feet, for thou art on sacred grounds. A similar message is repeated in the book of Acts, chapter number 7, verse number 33. The Lord tells to Moses, put off thy shoes from thy feet, for thou art on sacred grounds. And we Muslims, we are even given the option to wear the shoes when we enter the mosque or when we offer Salah by our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our beloved Prophet said, but when you wear the shoes, the sole should be clean. And it's mentioned in Abu Dawud, volume number 1, in the book of Salaah, Kitab Salaah, chapter number 240, hadith number 652, the Prophet said, be different than the Jews, for they always, during prayer, remove their shoes or sandals. It's also mentioned in Abu Dawud, volume number 1, in the Kitab Salaah, chapter number 240, hadith number 653, that Amr bin Shuaib, on the authority of his father, said that his grandfather said, I saw the Prophet pray both barefooted and with sandals. The reason we Muslims, we take off our shoes before we enter the mosque or for Salah, or clean the soles of our shoes, is because we are hygienic people. We want to keep our place of worship clean. Before we offer Salah, there is a call for prayers. And in different religions, you have different ways of calling people to come to prayer. For example, the Jews, they use the trumpet, as it's mentioned in the Bible. In the book of Numbers, chapter number 10, verses 1 to 3, Lord spake to Moses and told him to make 2 trumpets of silver and to use it to call the assembly. The Christians, they use the church bell. Some tribes, they use the drum. In Islam, we use the human voice. And the call for prayer is called as adhan. And the person who gives the adhan is called a muaddin. The human voice is much more melodious and soothing as compared to the trumpet, bell, or drum. And there is a much better impact on the human being. There are many non-Muslims who have reverted to Islam only by hearing the adhan. They were so impressed with the melodious adhan, which had a tremendous effect on their heart, mind, and soul, that they accepted Islam. But unfortunately, all the adhans that we have in Bombay, they aren't as melodious as they should be. And they cause more inconvenience to the human beings than tranquility. Therefore, I request all the muaddin that they should hear the adhan of the Haramain Sharif, Masjid Nabawi in Medina and Masjid Haram in Makkah, as an example of what a adhan should be like. Besides the adhan being melodious and soothing, it also carries a message. But unfortunately, most of the non-Muslims, they do not know what the message of the adhan is. Last December, I had been to Kerala to attend a conference organized by the Muslims, in which they also invited a non-Muslim minister who was giving a talk on the stage. And he was speaking a few good words about the Muslims and about Islam. And he said that we Indians, we are very proud of the Muslims. We are proud of the Mughal rulers, the amount of monumental buildings they made, the beautiful structures they made. No wonder you Muslims, you praise Emperor Akbar 5 times a day. It may sound like a joke, but it's very common that many non-Muslims think, especially of India, that we praise Emperor Akbar in the Adhan and in our Salah.